Welcome to Gospel Greetings number 65. Last week we talked about the last 3 of 6 principles in problem solving from Nehemiah 2, where the king asked Nehemiah why his face was so sad. Nehemiah said, "Hey, Jerusalem lies in ruins. Why shouldn't I be sad?" And the king said, "Well, what do you want then?" And Nehemiah prayed to the God of heaven, and he answered the king. And we saw these 3 principles. Number 1, wait for the right timing. 2, do your homework. And 3, assemble and encourage your team. This was great instruction from a leader who lived thousands of years ago. This week, we will continue by discussing how to overcome obstacles when problem solving from Nehemiah chapter 6. Look at verses 1 to 5. When the word came to our enemies that I had rebuilt the wall and not a gap was left in it, though up to that time I had not set the doors and the gates. They sent me this message, "Come, let us meet together in one of the villages." But they were scheming to harm me. So I sent messengers to them with this reply, "I am carrying on a great project and cannot go down. Why should the work stop while I leave it and go down to you?" 4 times they sent me the same message, and each time I gave them the same answer. Then the 5th time, they sent an aide to me with the same message, and in his hand was an unsealed letter. There's so much going on in these 5 verses. Nehemiah has overcome many obstacles. Work inequity, material shortages, threats of attack, you name it, he's dealt with it. Now we see his enemies from the surrounding countries adding more obstacles. They want to have a summit of some kind and maybe even waylay him on the way there. But God strengthened Nehemiah. If you haven't read this book for a while, I strongly encourage you to. It's fantastic. Now, I see 3 obstacles in this little section here. The first obstacle is distraction. He saw through their ruse and realized they were trying to distract him, draw him away, and to prevent the work from proceeding and being completed. The second obstacle is interruption and disruption. Look how many times they send messengers to come to meetings. Not once, but 5 times they send messengers. Nehemiah, come here. Nehemiah, come here, etc. Each one was an interruption and a disruption to the work, and it required emotional and mental energy to keep his focus. The third and greatest obstacle is a threat. When invitations didn't work, they tried threats of accusing Nehemiah of an uprising against King Artaxerxes. They revealed this with an unsealed letter. This means there was no wax seal on it, and it could be opened and read by whomever handled it. Of course, this letter accused Nehemiah of trying to set himself up as king over Judea. News would spread fast and would discredit Nehemiah and turn the king against him. In verse 9, Nehemiah warns his people that their enemies are just trying to frighten them so that their hands will be too weak for the work. They'll be shaking with fear and the gates won't be completed. What he says next is key. He prays to God, "Now strengthen my hands." And God did. Nehemiah refused to get sidetracked and did not allow himself or his people to get entangled in these disputes. Instead of focusing on the obstacles, he continued to focus on the Lord. Over and over again, he stays focused and does not get distracted. But for you, what are your obstacles? What is the great work that you need to stay focused on? Ask God to strengthen your hands for this work, and he will. Have a great week.